Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Or do I need to turn the table, angle it a little bit? Is this easier? All right. So right now, we're at the point where we've gone over the credit, and now we're going to move on to the next step. So, Terry, has your salesperson had a chance to go over your limited manufacturer's warranty with you? Now, what's your understanding of it?
That I have a 3-year, 36,000-mile comprehensive warranty, and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain.
Okay, great. So you got a basic understanding of your coverage. All right, part of my job is to make sure you have a complete understanding. Terry, the last thing I want is to have you go into service, have something not covered, and then have you come back and kind of yell at me, all right? So if you take a look at this book, this is going to be the most important book out of all the other ones that are in your owner's manual. Number one, this covers not only the warranty, but it covers the maintenance guide too. So in the back of the book, you're going to have all your maintenance coverage, and everything above the blue line is what you have to do, and then the optional stuff is below that. Okay. Now, were you aware that you actually had multiple coverages?
No.
And what I mean by that is it's real simple. The new vehicle limited warranty, the basic one you knew about, the 3-year 36. Then now you have your powertrain 5-year 60. You also have your safety restraint system for 5 years and 60. And then corrosion is from the inside out, not the outside in, and that's unlimited miles for 5 years. Okay. However, this does say limited. So let's take a look at what it's actually limited to so you know the coverage. If we flip over here, okay, you're going to have what's not covered, and you're going to have the actual covered parts. So when we look at that, get to the right page. Okay. The basic limited warranty covers repairs and adjustments needed to correct defects in material and workmanship. Now, what do you think the key word is there? Defects, exactly. The only obligation they have is to repair defects, which is basically anything misbuilt, misassembled, or misdesigned is what their obligation is. If you go further down, they're going to also cover not only for 3 years 36, but they're going to do a 12-month, 20,000-mile where they cover the alignment and the balancing. Now, why do you think Toyota would do that? Well, one of the things that they do know is with the quality of the car is the smoother that car runs in the first year, the less adjustments things have to make as they're settling in. So they want to make sure that that car runs real smooth. Now the next one is the powertrain. You knew it was 5-year 60, and there's that dreaded word again, defects in material and workmanship. Now, Terry, there's 2 different types of warranties. You got one called a stated and one called exclusionary. Have you ever known anyone who had coverage yet it never seemed to cover anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because it's something called stated. Basically, if it's stated, it's covered. In other words, it has to be on the list. But if it's not on the list, guess what? Not covered. Now, exclusionary is the reverse of that. They're going to give you a small paragraph of what is not covered because everything else is, and there's over 15,000 parts that are on these vehicles. Now, the reason why I bring this up is the manufacturer has both of them. The basic is your exclusionary policy, and the list of what's not covered is over here. Now, the powertrain, being that it is stated, okay, this covers mainly internal lubricant parts. It's going to cover your engine, transaxle, front-wheel drive system, rear-wheel drive. Now, if anything that breaks within that 5-year 60 is listed here, 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 or here, you're going to be covered. If something breaks that is not listed here, which you see the paragraphs right there, then that's going to be up to you. That's your risk. If anything off of that, if a covered part causes a non-covered part to break, that's going to be your risk and your responsibility. However, if a non-covered part causes, if a non-covered part causes a covered part to break, your risk, your responsibility. If a covered part causes a non-covered part to break, they will pay for that. Okay? So let's go ahead. Is there any questions about what you're responsible for and the risk here? All right. So over here, let's get into what's not covered. This is where you've got to spend your money. Right off the bat, fire, accident, and theft. So if your car is ever a total loss from your insurance company from either one of these, that's gonna be between you and your insurance company and your bank if there's any type of loan deficiency. The theft system, if there's a theft system on the vehicle, all right, that's not gonna, as far as manufacturer, get involved in that. That's between you, your insurance company, and whatever theft company that's out there. The next one is just really abuse, neglect, any type of misuse, overloading. Now, that stuff, just use the vehicle for what it's supposed to. That's all they're asking. Don't, ruin it while you're actually paying things. Now, the next one I'm gonna spend a second on, and it says improper repairs. There is a difference between a certified Toyota mechanic and a certified mechanic. The manufacturer spends thousands upon thousands of dollars designing these vehicles. At the same time they design these vehicles, they're also designing the technical manuals just to work on them, along with the computer programs and all the tools. Well, on top of that, once they train the techs, there's constant updates that are coming up. If someone works on your car and they don't have the right tools, right computers, or right updates to work on your car, and they make a mistake, it will be deemed an improper repair, which means you're responsible for that, and that's where the risk comes in. Now, alterations, tampering, things of that, you want to make sure there's no type, the alterations are actually pure. There's a lot of aftermarket out there, and I always tell my customers, do yourself a favor, okay? Check with our parts department and make sure that they haven't engineered something for your car. Usually it's a lot better and it's designed to fit on there. Some of the aftermarket companies, they got some high school kids, some college kid with a drill, and they're drilling into your $30,000 car. So you may just want to pay attention. Now, right here is lack of improper maintenance. This is the most expensive repairs. If someone doesn't follow their maintenance schedule and something happens to the engine. A lot of times people will go to something like a Jiffy Lube or Walmart, something like that. If they make a mistake or don't use the right equipment on the car, it will be deemed improper repair, and that's up to you. Normally, a simple oil change can turn into thousands of dollars because it's a new engine. So we always recommend, we do have a quick loop here, and our recommendation is to use the certified techs that are using the certified parts to go onto your car. And with our quick loop, we can get you in and out really quick. The next part here is any type of chemicals, airborne, tree sap. Remember, corrosion is from the inside out, not the outside in. So this will, the things, if this happens, it's not going to be covered, okay? Now, tires real quick, if we go over here to page 28, tires are not covered by the manufacturer, but don't worry. They're covered by the manufacturer of the tires, which is Firestone, Bridgestone, or Michelin. Now, here's their contact information, and there's that dreaded word again, defects. So if you end up hitting anything in the road, pothole, road debris, any type of road hazard, then that's not going to be covered. And if you hit something hard enough and you kind of break the seal on the rim or it can't seal, that's where it gets really expensive, and that's up to basically your own document risk, okay? And the last thing is our human element, and that's normal wear and tear. There's three things that cause wear and tear: driving habits, road conditions, and the environment. What do you have control over? Yeah, that's it. So if anything happens, there's a third party, a warranty administrator, that's going to sit there and they're going to say whether it's a defect, not a defect, whether it's wear and tear or not wear and tear. So there is a little bit of a risk here of who's going to say what's wear and tear or not. And I just need you to be aware of that. Okay, any questions about what we covered and not covered? No? Okay, and you go ahead and move this over here. Now, I do have a small concern. Do you mind if I share that with you? Well, over here, if you remember, we said that it was a 3-year or 36,000 mile coverage, correct, for the basic warranty. The concern is this right here. If we're looking, and this is now, and this is the end of the term, 3 years, 36 is about right here. Now, based on your driving habits, you said you drove approximately
15,000 miles a year.
15. So basically, you're going to be out of coverage when? So between now and then, you're 100% risk-free against what? Defects in material and workmanship, correct? If it's not a defect, what happens?
I cover it.
Yes. Now, here's where the main concern comes in. From that time to the end of the term, who's 100% risk responsible?
I am.
And wouldn't it be nice to make most of this risk go away?
Yes, it would.
Here's how we do that. Now, keep the tapes on. The version I just did is what we do in Pro 1 because, one, it's the longest version. It's long because I'm trying to show you everything, and it's for training. Okay? When you're in front of a customer and you get good at this thing's just going to fly real quick. And there's things you're going to cover, things you won't, but I wanted to show you for training purposes what we covered. Now, tomorrow we're going to get into this. This is what you're going to learn. All right? And by the end of the week, it's going to be a lot quicker than what you just seen. A true presentation with the timeline and going over the warranty guide will last approximately 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, you will set up everything that you sell. What was created by reviewing this book? Well, you just heard.
Fear,
About the risk factor.
Bodyguard.
Pardon me?
fear,
Paint and fab. What else?
Tire and wheel.
Tire and wheel.
Interior, or ours is interior with Xylon warranty.
Theft.
Xylon interior. Theft.
Elements.
Service contract, obviously.
Service contract.
Maintenance,
Maintenance.
gap.
Gap. We hit everything within 10 minutes, and you know what the greatest part of it is?
you haven't even said it.
It's coming from the manufacturer, not from me. All I'm doing is just sharing. So when we go to tie it back, what happens is on the menu, you can go, because it's not covered over here, here's how we remove this risk. Because it's not covered here, this is how we take care of it here. And we're always constantly tying back to the book. Okay? You can go ahead and turn those off now. But I wanted to let you know, this is the long one, just for training purposes, so you can hear everything I'm doing. Okay? And then, the timeline. Quick, easy, to the point. And write it upside down.